And now that the recording has started, I can give you all a very good morning, wish you all a very good morning and a very good afternoon, because you're all in the afternoon already. We are still in the morning in Switzerland, in Europe. It is a pleasure to welcome you to this fourth session of this webinar series, this Biotrade BSO webinar series. Today, we will be looking at the ITC's, the International Trade Center's e-Trade Academy. And there's a number of reasons why this is a very interesting initiative. Unfortunately, the people from ITC who are supposed to conduct this training are not here. So no matter, I will conduct the training. I'm familiar enough with the tool to discuss about it, but also, and I think more interestingly, I want to take the opportunity to discuss with you how you can use the tool for yourselves, for your own benefit. So without further ado, let me start sharing. Of course, I cannot give you a lot of information on the background, on number of users and those things that ITC would certainly be able to do. But yeah. I can show you the tool and I can discuss with you where it comes from. So I am going to share now. I've started sharing now my screen. And what you're seeing here is the new ITC website. It has been launched Monday this week, I think. If not Monday, then, yeah, I think it was Monday this week. But it's brand new. It's newly launched. If you have been following ITC, if you have been navigating the ITC website for recently, you will notice it looks completely different. There's a lot more pictures. It's a lot more, shall we say, easy to look at. So that's really helpful. And it features, it's a lot simpler and a lot less cluttered, so it's a lot easier to use, if you will. But the key thing is, how do you get to the different resources? So when you look at resources, you look at data and analysis, and you can find here there's your trade statistics, your market data and tools. So here are the tools that we've been looking at. Remember that we were presented with the e-ping, with the export potential map. Oh, here is Rafael, who is joining. So you've got the export potential map and the investment map and all the other tools, market access map that we also saw. And we've got all the elements around sustainability and inclusivity. So the standards map that we saw yesterday, there's sustainability map, there's a lot of resources. And here is the e-learning SME Trade Academy. But now I will just hand over to Rafael Dard, who is the manager of the SME Trade Academy. I will stop sharing my screen and I will give the floor to Rafael. Rafael is, although he's a French national, he has been living in several countries in Latin America for a number of years, which is why I speak in Spanish with him regularly. And Rafael has been with ITC a number of years, like 14 years, 13 years, I don't know, a while.
18.
18 already, bloody hell.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, Miguel, for connecting late.
That's nice, quite okay.
Meet you.
Okay, so I will just hand over the floor to Rafael and let him take over and drive this one. Rafael, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miguel. So, as Miguel expressed, I have been at ITC for quite a number of years. At first, I worked on mobile solutions for Africa, sharing market information by SMS. I think there's background noise from someone. And then in 2012, I was asked to develop e-learning for ITC. We had not been active in this area. And I will load the presentation so that you can see, and I can comment this. So as I said, we started in 2012. At first, we set up an online learning platform, and I went on the various floors of ITC, convince colleagues to turn some of their training content into digital form. And so here we are, 10 years later, with a group of almost 15 colleagues. Let me just open the file so you can see it. You will tell me if you can see me or what I'm sharing. Let's see. Can you all hear me well?
We can hear you. There's a little noise, like a clicking noise, as if a fake contact, but otherwise we can hear you well, and we can see you well.
Let me know if there's a bug. Can you see the presentation now?
It has started. Yes, we are seeing your presentation indeed.
So can I ask by hand raise if anyone on Zoom, if anyone knows the SME Trade Academy? Miguel, you know it.
Yes, I do. I have followed a number of courses. I have facilitated a number of courses. I'm currently following a course, so yes, I know it.
Oh, yeah. Which course are you following?
The one on CSR.
Okay, corporate social responsibility. So here you see
Exactly.
the landing page of the SME Trade Academy. Sorry, I was moving this window on the side. We have courses on export development, sustainability, trade support, entrepreneurship, and we are actually aiming, as its name indicates, to support SMEs around the world. We currently have courses in the public platform in 4 languages, and we have about 100 courses on the main platform, and then we are operating various different platforms. One of them, the biggest one, is the SheTrades platform, which is, as you probably know, SheTrades is about women empowerment and business support organizations, also in the direction of support to the gender balance in business. We also support a platform on sustainable development called Trade for Sustainable Development, and which focuses especially on the textile supply chain. We have here courses that are on this main page, as you can see, building competitiveness in creative industries. So this is both for the private sector and the public sector and the business support organizations. We have also
excuse me, Raphael,
trade support institutions. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you, but we're seeing only your presentation screen, so your slides. We're not seeing.
Can you see my arrow?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just explaining the type of courses that are on the catalog for the moment. And so as I said, we are supporting mainly SMEs, but also the trade support institutions themselves. Here you have one course which is about understanding the role of trade support institutions. It's written in small, that's why, but also topics for policymakers. Here is introduction to the WTO trade facilitation agreement. We have courses on financing trade services, export development. This one course is in Arabic. When you come to the platform, which is learning.intrasend.org, you see the upcoming courses by dates. It's important to note that the courses are 2-week long in general and require 4 hours of work. If you want to activate your camera, I can see if you have doubts or if you have questions, you can raise your hands. I can also see you. That was the map of the participants around the world. We have now reached a cumulative 400,000 enrollments. So it's this slide is not up to date. As you can see, the number is smaller, And we are aiming for 1 million enrollments in a couple of years from here, because it's been a growth that has been consistent. Here, the little dots you see on the map are cities, not countries themselves, so it's more precise. And you can see a lot of presence in Africa, a lot in Asia, and a little bit in the continent where Miguel comes from, Latin America. So these were I can see this, the slides I picked are a bit old, but you can see the countries by connection. The first two ones are from Africa, then you have India, then Ghana, Africa again, Peru, Philippines, Indonesia. This hasn't changed much, by the way, since then. And then from the type of participants who come to the platform, we have, as I said, private sector and public sector. Here you can see the government, NGOs, trade support institutions on the top, which comprises, together with international organizations and academia, about a little bit less than half. And then the private sector is about more than half, with SMEs being the largest chunk. And then companies who have not identified their size as the second largest chunk. Of course, we have a lot of self-employed participants and entrepreneurs. So I mentioned this one earlier, the introduction to WTO trade facilitation agreement, but here this is one which is on helping SMEs generate export business. I will leave a lot of time for questions. So if you have questions now, you can park them in a few minutes. Here is one course on introduction to international transports and logistics. Standards and sustainability. I mentioned we have Trade for Sustainable Development section of ITC that uses our services a lot. Here's a course on e-commerce for your B2B business. Building competitiveness in creative industries, women and procurement. As I said, we have also free trades, the ITC program for women empowerment and trade as a main internal client. We have also requests for courses which are unusual. This one was a request from a project engaging with the diaspora for trade. So this is not the usual course you would find on a massive open online course like a MOOC platform. We also have accessing halal markets. This is very specific to certain religion and the types of food that is being eaten in some part of the countries. This is a course Miguel is connected to, I believe. Introduction to corporate social responsibility. We run the courses, I didn't mention this, but we run the courses about 4 times a year. So remember, these are 2-week long courses, and we make them tutored. So most of them are have a tutor who can answer questions and also ask questions to the participants, who then can obtain the certificate only if they respond to the question and then engage in the discussions inside the forum. Thank you for the ones who have activated their cameras. It's easier when we do Zoom meetings to see people's faces, right? I just come from a face-to-face meeting and it was quite good. Thank you. I motivated some more. The content we deliver inside the courses are engaging. We make most of our efforts in this because this makes the difference from other online courses where you would only download PDF and have to learn it almost the old way. This is more calling for interactivity, for participants to not only click from slide to slide, but actually to answer questions. So that activates your brain and make sure you learn. We believe it's through the use of the brain that your brain is evolving and getting to learn. Here is a slide on the export marketing process. You also have slides where you can roll over and have a box that opens. And of course, we can activate randomly videos and sounds. This one is typically an animation also. So not only videos of experts, but also animations that are built just for the course. This one is also an illustration of multiple choice questions, quizzes, and we make we give also assessments within each course so that the participants obtain a certificate which is unique with their name. This is a video our colleague Miguel knows, Mr. Imamo. So he is the expert being asked on trade support institution strengthening. So here are the names of some of the programs I mentioned before. So SheTrade, Trade for Sustainable Development, Youth and Trade is also a large project of ITC. I'm currently heavily involved in a project in Guinea and one in Senegal. We are starting in about a little bit more than half an hour course for 150 participants with a remote trainer who is based in France and training on permaculture. And it's in classes in Guinea in 5 different cities with 30 participants in each. And in the morning, they listen to the theory of permaculture, and in the afternoon, they practice in the field. So it's an example of a different type of training that we've developed beyond e-learning alone, going to the what we used to say brick and mortar, meaning the face-to-face training. So we're moving from pure e-learning to what we call IT facilitated learning. So using all the types of information technologies that are available. So I'm sure some of you have been involved in trainings where you have a trainer remotely talking on the screen, and this is what we engaged more in. Here is the landing page of the SheTrades platform. So I showed you now the SME Trade Academy, which is the ITC corporate platform. But this one is for the program called SheTrades. They have requests for specific courses from their partners. They have many private sector partners like UPS or Mary Kay. This is a landing page of the Trade for Sustainable platform on SLCP, which is the one on textile that I was mentioning. The companies who wish to supply large buyers need to respect certain standards, and they learn about those standards within this platform. And they cannot reach the supply chain if they are not certified in this platform, which means that there's a lot of uptake in the platform. This is another platform we did with Youth and Trade program, which is called Accelerate 2030. So this is focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN and supporting the private sector in various developing economies to understand what the SDGs are. And here you can see, or maybe I can see because it might be the small screen where you are, but you have courses on leadership and resilience, on scaling for impact, on social group, and then internationalization of services. And again, the courses are in 4 languages in here. This is a platform we developed for Libya at the request of the EU and a French aid organization called Expertise France. And this one is a custom developed platform similar to one that you could request from ITC if you would like. And we built 100 hours of online courses on entrepreneurship alone. And we made a partnership with the ILO, the labor organization, because they had a face-to-face training program called Start and Improve Your Own Business, SIYB. And we digitized 40 hours of course of that program, which digital content can be reused by ILO itself. And this is the platform of the Guinea project I just mentioned. So those participants of the face-to-face training and / distance training in the morning on theory those participants will be loaded onto this platform and will be able to exchange after the 2-week course. I can see maybe a question in the chat. Is that for me? No. Suddenly the bar appeared. Voila, I think, let me see. So this is, I mentioned we create platforms. I wanted to show you a new type of platform we developed for some of our clients, where we have baptized a new type of platform called virtual learning space. So this is going a little further than pure online learning, and it's encouraging community interaction so that the participants, besides just going into a platform to learn on a course and get a certificate, they actually stay on the platform and interact with other people who are active in the same area. So this is the one we did for Libya, where you have a part which is the banner with the partners, with the owners and the branding. This is an area which is about the dashboard of a learner who sees the progress in his or her learning path. So you can see below the badges and certificates to the courses that the person has attended. So there's a sense of progress, which is appreciated. And above me, you have above it, you have a little bit of the progress bar also, and the stars you acquire by either being finishing some courses or being active in chats and providing content to peers. In the main central part, we have a bit of a timeline similar to some social media platforms. So that's where you get your notifications, your exchanges with your manager of the platform, announcements and alerts on some events that will appear, that will happen. Then you have access to the management team, to the people you can reach out to. And then you have also some groups, subgroups by topics that you can reach. And these are actually with online events and I believe face-to-face events if you organize them. And on top, you have a messaging system within the platform. So we just enriched the learning management system that we use and called it virtual learning space. And this is, again, encouraging interactions between participants. And this is if you scroll down, you have also the activities on the left, which are yours. So the one groups you contribute to or you have decided to participate in. Below it, you've got some files that can be, for example, the result of a training that you have taken, and you have created an output out of the training as an exercise, and you can keep it there in your own box, in your own file. On the right, you have access to resource library, like if it was a library in a university, you can access digital documents like PDF files, and well, upcoming deadlines if you have courses which have an end date. So this is, of course, give you a heads up on the richness of the platform for the participants that is possible. And for organizations like ours and also our donors, there is an interest in monitoring and evaluation. And through those platforms, as I showed you before, we have instances of data. That means we have courses, we have detailed on participants, we have their performance, we have all this captured inside the database, and this allows us to do monitoring and evaluation on a daily basis. And also from the results of the programs, it enables us and our donors to communicate, and our partners also locally. So this is an important aspect that the digitization of training enables us to do. Just to get closer to the conclusion, we have a bit of an overview of our section and our team in ITC. So of course we have to rely a lot on technology, and we do constant updates in order to be using the latest technologies as much as possible. And then inside ITC and with all the courses we've developed, we of course base our work on a lot of content. We receive requests for new programs and activities and new projects on an ongoing basis. Programs at ITC is a way to structure the various activities that we have. Maybe we have 200 projects going on at a single time, and all of these ones will be connected to 1 or 2 or 3 programs of ITC, thematic ones, as I said. Some of them one of them focusing on women empowerment, one of them focusing on youth, and others on sustainability and supply chain. I don't have them all in my mind now, but we have 7 programs which are now about, let's say, 5-year-old and running well. And then we have that pillar, which is the networking and the monitoring and evaluation part with all the, you can imagine what we have 130,000 participants inside the database, which are policymakers, all the way to students through SMEs and trade support institutions. And this is requiring a lot of management and relationship management. Voilà, so that was an overview. I hope I didn't lose you with all the details, but I will stop for now, otherwise we will all get to sleep and listen to questions.
Thank you, Raphael. Because most of the participants are BSOs themselves, that will not be, at least for the foreseeable future, trying to develop an e-learning platform of their own, or coming to ITC for the development of a project-based one. Maybe I would like to ask you to present how the actual platform looks like. In other words, if I am a BSO somewhere in Southeast Asia, how can I use your platform for the benefit of my members or my clients or the people that I work with?
So the most appropriate way is to log on to our platform, so learning.intresend.org. Look for topics of interest to you or your beneficiaries, your members. And then for courses which are directly relevant to support of the private sector, you will see that there are courses. If you click the box that says trade support, you will have the selection of courses which are directly relevant for these BSOs. And then you can either follow those courses yourselves and your team, but also if you have access to the whole portfolio, or if you focus on some of the topics, either export development or sustainability or any other, you can also search the catalog with keywords on the top right. Then I encourage you to engage also the private sector itself, because courses are free. The only obligation is, and it's not really an obligation, but it's the simplest way, is to look at the next starting date and register for the upcoming course. So you can register, I believe, up to courses that are starting in June or July, but there are many that start before that, of course. So you need to, there are 2 steps basically. First, select the topic that is relevant to you or your members or your beneficiaries. and to register to them or have your beneficiaries register to these courses. And then certainly tell Miguel if it was useful, and tell us if you have improvement suggestions that you would like us to make. In some instances, when a business support organization reaches out to us for a specific topic that is really relevant for a cohort of identified beneficiaries or 20 up to 1,000 participants, we can also establish a starting date which is specific, which we call then special session. So that normally has a cost, but in some instances we waive the cost just because there's a very specific objective of training a certain number of SMEs or entrepreneurs on a specific topic during a certain time. For example, if you are going to a live meeting in a conference or sector conference, you might want to train SMEs before they reach out, before they get there. We have partners such as the Swiss Import Promotion Organization, who has developed its own platform with us, and they have developed a course which is for trade fairs. So before you have your private sector members go to a trade fair, you ask them to please take a course in order to make the most out of the trade fair, so that they're not, you don't pay the ticket for them to go to the trade fair and then they are idle when they are at the event, but they make most of it. They try to get business out of the trade fair itself. So that's an example where we would need to have a starting date that connects with the schedule of the trade fair itself. I don't know if that's clear. Miguel,
yes. I'm sorry, I was talking with my mute on. I wanted to share with everyone what the SME Trade Academy actually looks like for a user. So this, I mean, yeah, I wanted to show you the broad variety of courses that exist, but not only that exist just for the sake of curiosity and how fun it is, but also for the fact that you can promote these courses among your members and clients. So as Raphael has been saying, it's just an issue of letting them know that this course is taking place and it's completely free of charge. So they're very welcome to come and join. And there's elements like, for example, remember, Tip, we've been discussing the setting up of export marketing strategy for companies. Well, this is a course, and there's another course on international transport and logistics. And there's another on e-commerce. And we've been discussing yesterday and the day before on standards and sustainability. So here's an introductory course. For example, one of the key elements in the work that BSOs do is advocacy. And here is a course on advocacy and trade policy reform. So how to talk to the government and how to present to the government proposals on how to improve trade policy and make sure that that these things can work. I can see that you would like, Nuno, you would like the link. It's very simple. It's as you can see, learning.intrasend.org. That's all you need. Just type it in, and you're brought to this website, to this page, and you can select however many of these courses. Of course, they're welcome to join the courses in Spanish. Probably the ones in English will be more attractive. Maybe some of them speak Arabic, some maybe Arabic. Maybe I know that some of your members can be more at ease with French, so please, by all means, use French. But as you can see, there's a lot of different things. So, for example, one concern is how to go digital. I mean, this is something that I've heard across a number of organizations. How do we go digital? So here's an introductory course on that. It's got to be said that all of these courses are of an introductory level. These are not the courses that will help you get to a level of competence that is, that of experienced, seasoned professionals. That's not it. This is not a university course. This is a course, or all of these are courses to gain familiarity, to understand the basics of a concept and how to do the basic elements of putting it into practice. So for example, Introduction to Food Safety and Hygiene for Hotels and Restaurants does not help the hotels and restaurants go tomorrow or a couple of months after this course and get certified. But it does help to understand what is going to be required to embark upon the route of going to get certification or putting in place you remember that we spoke yesterday about the cost of putting in place the system to manage the requirements of a standard so you can get certified. Well, this is the type of course that helps you understand what will be involved. It doesn't take you all the way to certification. That's not what it does. But this is a very good introductory course. So again, about digital business and about this is something that many of you will probably be interested in, how to build a trade information service. What's a trade information service and why does it make sense? And what does it entail? Why should you put it in place? And how much does it cost and what can you do with it? And all of those topics are covered in this type of course. Stuff around e-commerce for B2B. Most of your companies will be wondering, and I know for a fact that companies in Myanmar are wondering, how do we go into e-commerce? And everybody wants to get into e-commerce because of the situation and the borders being closed and all these things make it very difficult to do traditional sales. So how do you get into e-commerce? Well, there's a course for that. Again, it's an introductory course. It will not put you at the place where you can start tomorrow putting in place your store, your e-store. But it helps you understand what is the size of the challenge at the very least. And in that, it helps you have realistic expectations, or helps you or your companies have realistic expectations about what will the size of the challenge be if you decide to, for example, go into full e-commerce strategy. And as you can see, there's topics on sustainability, there's topics on market analysis. So we saw on Tuesday, trade map and market access map and all the tools from ITC to help you understand trade flows. Well, here is a course. If you missed that presentation, or if you sort of got the tool, but not necessarily the methodology that goes with it, this is the place to come. And for example, something else that will be absolutely interesting for 99.9% of the companies you work with, how do you raise funds for your business? How do you go strengthening your business's capacities to access funds? Or how do companies understand supply chain management? And what's that? Everybody and their dog talks about supply chain management, and supply chains are disrupted, and the COVID crisis has disrupted supply chains. What's that? What does it mean? What is entailed in that? And as you can see, there's a very, very large number of courses on all types of content. So one thing that is very important is that you first understand what is the ambition and scope of all these courses, and it is introductory. So it's about becoming familiar with all these concepts. Again, it won't, for example, those things related to blockchain and trade, it's not going to make you an expert on blockchain, and it's not going to make you develop a new cryptocurrency or start, selling NFTs or all these things. That's not it. It's about understanding what is this thing with blockchain and how could you potentially use it. And that's it. But in any case, it is about becoming familiar with the concepts. So that's the first element. The second element is that, as Rafael has said, these courses are all free of charge, completely free of charge. So you need to understand that you can make all of your members, all of your companies, everybody come and access these courses. The limitation is that they're provided 4, 5, 3 times a year. Whenever they're available next, people can register, come in and use them, and use them, attend them, etc. The key thing is, should you want to have a specific cohort, in other words, you've got, as Rafael has mentioned, you've got a group of companies that definitely want to, I don't know, for example, like we are doing at this point, we and me, my cohort, we want to learn about CSR because I'm involved. I told you yesterday, I'm involved in a project in Nigeria on ginger, and CSR issues in the Nigerian ginger sector are a big thing because of all these things with child labor, and there's many concerns. So we are wanting to learn and wanting to be able to disseminate among the producers that we work with these issues of CSR. So we are doing the course first, and then we'll be referring our SME entrepreneurs into this course. Again, it's about getting them familiar with the concepts, getting them to start understanding why these things are relevant and what's in them, what's in the box. Another thing that most of your entrepreneurs believe they know how to do, but don't actually know how to do, it's export sales and negotiation. 99% of the entrepreneurs that start going into export markets believe that selling is just selling, just like they've done all their lives in the domestic and the local markets. Just about convincing somebody that your product is fantastic and that's the best thing ever, and people will just splash out the money. That's not how it works. In international markets, no one is in the market just to sell once or buy once. Everybody is in the market to build long-term relationships, which means that everybody is in the market for understanding who the supplier is and what is the credibility and what are the capacities. Are they credible? Are they going to be able to be supplying large volumes 2 years down the line? Will they be able to do it in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, a year's time? How do you try to really make money? It's not about dropping your prices to get the client, because then, if you keep on selling at low prices and you make no money, then you're broke. That doesn't work. Or it's not about trying to make the most money on the first deal, because then you don't get the deal. So all these things about how do you sell and how do you negotiate with buyers, this is an introductory course. Again, these are things that will be useful for your entrepreneurs and for your companies to understand basic elements. And because these courses are free, they don't have to tell you, they don't have to confess to you, actually, I don't know how to sell my products. Because if you ask them, they all know how to sell their products. Of course, come on. They have a business. They've been in business for however many years. Of course, they know how to sell. But do they? How many international markets have they actually entered? But here they don't have to admit to you that they don't know. With these courses, in fact, they might actually realize that they don't know, right? Unknown unknowns. Many companies have plenty of unknown unknowns. And by doing these introductory courses, at least they realize that they don't know these things. For example, they don't know how to price. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to hire space in a boat to ensure that their shipment gets to the destination port on time. Port, bills of lading, what's all these things? What are the logistics of the supply chain? How do you manage all these things? So all of these courses are there for introductory elements. For example, cross-border contracts or lots of different content. And there are very interesting things such as, for example, specific webinars that are here that, you know, I don't even know what these things are. Raphael, you might help me. But what you find is that there is a lot of content, a lot of knowledge that ITC has been building over the years that has been turned into these introductory courses. So again, they're introductory. They're about raising awareness. They're about understanding the basic elements. Raphael was mentioning the CIPO course, the CIPO course on trade fair participation. It will, again, raise the awareness of companies how to effectively attend a trade fair. That doesn't mean that they follow the course and then next trade fair is brilliant success. They've made all the money they've invested in it and twofold, threefold, because that's not the only thing. Participating in a trade fair has a lot of little things that are required. It's not only about preparing your documents and preparing your samples and preparing your catalogs and your leaflets and brochures and price lists. It's about making sure that you sell the right pitch. It's about making sure that you have the right agenda and you go and meet the right people, that you go not only to sell, but to understand, in fact, that you don't attend a trade fair to sell, because you don't do that. Trade fairs are not selling opportunities, they're marketing opportunities, which makes a huge difference. So what these courses will do is they will help entrepreneurs understand that fact. You don't go to a trade fair to sell. You go to a trade fair to showcase your products, to position yourself in the market, to conduct market intelligence, understand what is happening in the market, who are selling things, what is going on, so that you can position yourself better. And then next time around, you can come with more powerful value propositions and meet the right people, and then through that potentially lead to orders. I guess what I'm trying to say is something that I've already said. These courses will provide like a grounding, a discovery of concepts. They will provide a first step into actually learning the nooks and crannies, all the details of all these topics. But at least, again, they help people understand what they don't know, discover unknowns, and therefore become familiar with the fact that they need to learn more about these things. And then potentially they can ask you for more things. So for example, they follow the course on export marketing strategy, and then they realize they actually are missing a hell of a lot of market information. They don't know how to select the right market, and they don't know how to select the right segment within the market, and they don't know who are the buyers within that segment, within that market. So they not only need courses, they actually need support. So now you as a BSO understand, because they've come asking, how do I find that buyer in that market? Now you understand what they need, so you can respond with another service, right? So these courses are not highly demanding. I mean, 4 hours over 2 weeks. This is not, this is not a PhD degree. This is not a master's degree. It won't suck ridiculous amounts of time or effort from your participants, from your members. But they will be a good stepping stone into another conversation. So I would, yes.
I would like to take any question because I see the time is running. As I indicated, unfortunately, I cannot stay more than an hour. We have a course starting with 150 participants in Guinea in a couple of minutes, and I just want to make sure I'm there in case there's a technical issue. So thank you for echoing what I was saying on the potential of that platform for the BSO beneficiaries. And so thank you for the opportunity. Is there any question before I open that other training?
Yes, I would like some question. Can I?
Please.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your interesting sharing module for our BSO services. I am from Habitat organization. My name is Saw. I'm project manager. I would like to question is our BS, our members and of the we are working with the association. We have many members. These members they are exporting business, exporting company to the Europe, USA, and South Asia country. But majority of the company they are not good at English learning.
Yes.
So that's why we want to be the reversion to the Myanmar language. Our BSO is a translated, and can we share our partner who are not the good at English? So can we
yes
use it?
Or so what I didn't mention is that at the end of every course, you can download the material in PDF.
Yeah.
In case you do not have good internet access, for example.
Yeah.
So that you can learn offline.
Yeah. Yes.
It is not as interactive as if it is on the web.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you have the text, and then probably you can translate on your end, and then make it accessible for your partners.
Yes. Yeah.
And there is a copyright, of course, but if the content is used for that kind of training, it is in the mission of ITC, therefore it's not an issue.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would complement Raphael's comment, saying that if you quote ITC and give, if you give credit to ITC as being the source of all this,
sure, that's fine. That's important indeed. There was another question.
Yeah, I noticed that most of the course is like 4 hours over like 2 weeks. Is it 4 hours for online or extra for offline as well? Why too short?
So as I said, if you would like to download a lecture in PDF, you can learn it offline, and you can go back online just to do the assessment. The assessment, the multiple choice question and the case study with questions is online. And you then, once you have completed it online, maybe it takes about an hour, you get a certificate sent to you by email, and you can download it from the platform. But so to answer your question in short, the lectures can be downloaded and learned offline. The assessment needs to be done online.
Okay, so meaning when you say the time required, is this for prepare for the online or the assessment and
the 4 hours like that, right? Is the time we consider as an average that is necessary to follow the whole course, including the assessment. Because we more or less count 45 minutes to 1 hour per lecture, and there's usually 3 lectures, plus 1 hour for the assessment, case study assessment, and then interactions with the forum. Some people can do it much faster. Some people do it with more time. And of course, it's not 4 hours in a block. It can be 1 hour. You wait for a couple of days, then do another hour or 2 hours. It's at your pace. It's a cumulative time over 2 weeks.
Okay.
This is maybe we can let Raphael go because I think he's
Thank you so
running
much.
short of time, and we can continue discussing this for a bit. Thank you very much, Raphael.
It was very nice. Thank you for the opportunity and have a good day. Bye bye.
Muchas gracias.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Gracias a ti.
Okay, to complement what Raphael was saying, Tip, this is what is called in the jargon. This is what is called asynchronous learning. So what happens with asynchronous learning is we don't have to be, as opposed to this webinar is synchronous. We have to be here all the time, right? And if we want to interact, well, it's got to be synchronous because there's no more opportunity to ask questions if we're not in the room. But asynchronous, the way the ITC E-Trade Academy is, you can come in, you're having a bad night and you're not sleeping and it's 2 a.m. and you've got nothing to do. Log in, read for 10 minutes, get very, very bored and go to sleep, and that's it. Fine. During your lunch break, you want to log in for 1 hour. Please go ahead. And because there is a forum, then the interaction is also dynamic asynchronously. You don't have to be there at the same time. So the calculation is that indeed overall, you invest about 4 hours per course. It sounds very, I don't know, uncomfortable for me to say it, but I take about 2 hours. In my CSR course, I've logged in, I think, twice. Now I've finished the second lecture. I think I should be finished. If I manage to get some time today, I'll finish it today. If I don't manage to get some time today, I'll finish it tomorrow. But really, because again, the level is introductory. These are not university level courses. So yes, you do have to read and you do have to follow the lessons, if you will, but they're not going to be, you're not going to have to read 3 academic articles to complement the knowledge, or you don't have to spend 3 hours online Googling all types of complementary information. They're relatively simple, and the aim of all these courses is, as I've mentioned, to raise awareness, to help people understand what is the topic about. So they will not substitute, dedicated training on any of the topics that takes 4 days. No, they will be equivalent to having, an overview of those 4 days of a training. Sure. And in that sense, it will be very helpful. But it's not going to be the training that helps you become an expert at some topic. Zhang Dang is saying, during the lockdown times last year, I completed some courses on the ITC Learning platform. I imagine it's like a giant and wonderful biz school amidst COVID-19. I think many business people in Vietnam are interested. It's better to create some courses in Vietnamese language if possible. Many thanks and highly appreciated. Well, yes, I'm sure that people would appreciate the courses in Vietnamese. The problem, and Raphael mentioned it in passing, is that all of these things cost money, right? Because you have to have the trainers that help you, or the experts that help you build the content for the course, then the people that transform that course into the graphics that we see and that program, that help with the design, and then the people that program the software to take you through the lectures, etc. Then you've got to a flat, a course that is only based on flat lectures is a bit boring. So you've got to put in some videos because they're more interesting and they tell you experiences. So you've got to have the time and the people that come and record the video and edit the video, and all of that takes time and takes money, and it's expensive. that's why Rafael spent a lot of time discussing how many projects and initiatives require or request courses from the eTrade Academy. And of course, they'll be happy to do it, because what they do is they provide the designers and sort of the infrastructure. The designers and the video editors and all the people that make the course possible. They do not provide the experts in the topic. Those need to be provided by the technical experts in the house or wherever. So what I'm saying is translating courses takes investment, and as long as there is somebody or a project, a donor, somebody willing to pay for that cost, easy peasy. Takes about a month, and then the course is online. Very simple. Next challenge is finding a tutor that speaks Vietnamese and that can facilitate the discussions within the course, because again, Rafael mentioned it, but all of these courses, and Jang, you will remember that all of these courses have a tutor that is there to ask questions, to answer questions, to facilitate discussion, to stimulate discussion. So you've got to have that person that speaks Vietnamese. So what I'm saying is, putting in place one of these courses requires some resources, money and people and time that are not necessarily obvious. But that doesn't mean that, as Zor was asking, that doesn't mean that one of you cannot take the course, download the materials, translate into Vietnamese or Myanmar or Lao or whichever language, and then circulate among your members the link to register to the course and then access to that translation, so that your members or your clients can follow the course and then have the local language version, and through those mechanisms even learn a little bit of English. Right? That can be done, and that can be easily done by any and all of you. Yes, Zor, I see you want to say something, but you're muted. Go ahead.
Yes. We clearly understand. So, but we need to be the credit to the ITC, right? We mentioned if we got revision to the Myanmar language, we need to show up this is from the ITC or something like that. We need to mention about that, right?
Yeah. But once, I mean, the thing with ITC is because, well, ITC is an international organization that is funded by governments, basically, right?
Yeah. Which
so that means all, well, in principle, all governments, because all governments fund the UN, right?
Oh.
So the general budget for ITC comes from the UN, which means every country in the world that is a member of the UN, right? So there's a little bit of money that goes into that. And then the other source of funding for ITC is the projects. And then it's whomever is providing the funds. And there's projects from the Korean government, the South Korean government, from Japan, from the German government, from the Netherlands, from the EU, from the US. That's not very much, but some. From the Swiss government, from the Spanish government, from the Canadian government sometimes, or NGOs that have funding for a project and from a project and decide that they need something specific from ITC, and therefore they use ITC services. I mean, for ITC, I have conducted training sessions paid for by local organizations in South Africa, for example. So all of that is possible. So before I lose my train of thought, what I'm trying to say is, because it typically, the funding from ITC typically is from governments, most of what ITC produces is a public good, an international public good. Oh, Tip, you're in blackout in the office. That's why you were kicked out. No problem. I can see also, yeah, Zoe, you need to leave. Tell you what, let me finish very quickly, cut it short, and then wrap up, and I'll let everybody leave early today. But before we leave, let me just close on this idea, because the work of ITC is mostly a public and international public good. You can use it the way you can use, park bench, as long as you mention that ITC is the source of all this material. Please, by all means, use it as much as you want. The same thing with trade map, market access map, standards map. Everything that we've seen this week, you can use any way you want to do it, as long as you give proper credit to ITC as being the source, right? It's not that like you can suddenly publish, I don't know, one of these e-courses and say, yeah, we did this. No, you may have done the translation, but the original material is ITC's. As long as you give ITC the credit, you can use it any way you want. I mean, I have written numbers of reports for other people, not for ITC, using ITC's market analysis tools, using trade map and market access map. And I say, this information comes from ITC's trade map. That's it. So the purpose of me investing time in showing you all of these tools is for you to start using these tools in as much as you possibly can. Because you can use all of these tools as long as you give credit to the source. Do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay, people, I know that many of you have to leave, or some of you have to leave. Let's leave it there. Please do not forget, let me put in the chat box once again the form for the evaluation. Your evaluation is fundamental, so I can report back and we can continue doing these webinar series. Maybe we can even do them twice a year instead of doing them every 2 years or something. But for all of that, I need your feedback. So your feedback is absolutely central. Please do not forget to fill in your feedback form. Thank you. Photo. Before I forget. So could you please turn on your cameras for 1 minute while I do the final picture, and you can all show a big smile and be visible.
Sorry, my feed is turned off, electric turned off. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So the blackout is not only in Tip's office, but also in Pukong's. Gosh, okay. Never mind. Now, big smile, everyone. Say cheese.
Say cheese.
Great stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow, same time. And tomorrow we will be looking at UNCTAD's statistics. They should be interesting. I will take some time tomorrow once that session is over, because they'll be there only for an hour. I'll take about 20 to 25 minutes to continue this discussion on how do we use all these tools? What can we make of this? And take it from there. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so very much. See you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.